The distress signal was weak. Just a faint pulse riding on old waves, flickering through the void like a dying candle. It had traveled light years, pushing through interference, war zones, and the silence of forgotten systems, and somehow, it reached Earth.I. in the command room deep beneath Earth's surface. Commander Dale stood still. The signal blinked on the holoscreen, repeating, begging. A voice spoke in broken standard Galactic, "To any who hear, we are dying, help us." The room stayed quiet for a moment. Then Dale turned toward the technician. "Where did that come from?" The technician, a young man named Ivor, checked the coordinates. Sector 9K, Outer Rim. A mining colony called Ulrose. Not under any Alliance protection. Dale frowned. Ulrose? That's near the Shikar border, right? Ivor nodded. Yes, sir. Rumors say the Shikar forces raided nearby systems last month. Could be the same attackers. Dale looked again at the screen. The voice repeated. A woman's voice, tired and breaking. "We have no weapons, no way out. Earth had changed long ago. Once ignored, now feared. Its people came from a death world, a planet that tested its children every day. Fires, storms, wild beasts, disease, and worse. Only the strongest, smartest, and most stubborn survived Earth. And when humanity reached the stars, that same will followed. The Earth Council didn't rush to war. But when innocents cried out, when others stayed silent, Earth's Deathworlders moved." Dale pressed a button. "Alert High Command. Prepare a recon ship. I want Captain Myra on this." In the quiet hangars of Earth's orbital base, the Vanguard powered up. It wasn't the biggest warship, but it was fast, cloaked, and deadly. Captain Myra was already inside, checking gear and armor. She was one of Earth's best, born in the deep jungles of old Africa, trained in all conditions. Her skin bore scars of old battles, and her eyes never missed anything. Her team joined one by one: Lucas, a calm heavy weapons expert; Toma, silent but fast as lightning; Jana, the sharpest scout on 3 planets; and Ash, the medic, kind but dangerous when needed. Myra checked the mission data. No backup. No confirmation. Just a cry for help. "Yes," replied Dale through the comms. "We don't know what's out there. But someone asked. That's enough for us." The ship left Earth silently. No announcement. No warning to the galaxy. Just a handful of Deathworlders heading toward a broken signal. Far away, in the dying colony of Ulrose, the people were starving. Their shields were down. Fires burned across what used to be homes. The Shikar had come weeks ago, tall, armored creatures with no mercy. The colony's leader, an older man named Brax, sat beside the last working console. His face was thin. He looked to the sky every hour, praying the signal had reached someone. Behind him, a young girl named Lyra sat holding her little brother. "No one's coming, is there?" she asked softly. Brax said nothing. He wanted to lie, but couldn't. Then, the console blinked. Lyra's eyes widened. Brax stood up so fast he almost fell. A new signal appeared, encrypted, tight, fast. It wasn't a reply. It was a lock-on from high above the planet, cloaked and unseen. Vanguard slowed into orbit. "Captain," Lucas said, watching the screen. "It's worse than expected. The colony is burning. No power, no defense." Myra nodded. "Then we go in hard and fast. No mercy for the ones who did this." Above the flames and broken towers, no one knew that Deathworlders had arrived. No one knew that help was already moving. But very soon, the galaxy would remember what it meant when Earth answered a cry for help. The Vanguard stayed hidden, cloaked just above the scorched skies of Ulrose. Inside, the team of 5 checked their gear. Every strap, clip, and weapon was tested and locked into place. Captain Myra looked at her team. "This isn't a rescue. This is a message. They attacked civilians. We answer." Lucas loaded his cannon. Loud and clear. Jana scanned the colony from orbit. No active defense systems. Shikar troops are scattered. Half of them look drunk or careless. They are not expecting anything. "Even better," Myra said. "Ash, you're on evac duty. Protect any survivors you find." The rest of us strike and burn. As the drop doors opened, the 5 Deathworlders stood at the edge, wind tearing past them. The ruined colony stretched out below, smoke rising, flames flickering, shadows moving. Now, Myra ordered, they jumped. And no parachutes. No thrusters, only the suits, designed on Earth's deadliest peaks and jungles, absorbed the shock as they slammed into the planet like meteors. Shikar guards looked up just in time to see the impact craters form. Then the screaming started. In the center of Ulrose, Shikar soldiers lounged near stolen supplies. Alien laughter echoed as they tossed stolen food to each other like toys. That laughter stopped as a blow moved through the smoke. Toma appeared first, fast, silent. A knife in one hand, shock dagger in the other. One Shikar reached for a weapon, too slow. His throat opened in a splash of black blood. Jana fired from a rooftop, each shot a clean burst of fire. 3 more Shikar dropped before they could yell. Lucas came through the center, massive, armored, and firing like thunder. Explosions followed each shot. One of the Shikar captains ran toward him and was tossed through a wall with a punch so hard the bones cracked before impact. Myra walked through the chaos like a ghost, silent, cold, her eyes burning with fury. Every shot she took hit center mass. She moved from one target to another like a storm crossing dry land. Meanwhile, Ash moved differently. He found the shelter under a broken structure. A small group of survivors huddled inside, eyes wide, thin bodies shaking. Brax stood to protect them, weak but ready to die on his feet. Ash raised one hand. It's okay. I'm from Earth. Brax stared. You heard us. Ash nodded. And we brought the right kind of answer. He handed Brax a small packet of food and medicine, then moved toward a crying child. I'll get you all out soon. But first, I need to clear a path. He tapped a small device on his arm. The walls around the shelter lit up with soft shields. You're safe now. Then he stepped out and became fire. Back in the battlefield, the Shikar command post was in chaos. Sirens howled. Blood stained the ground. What was supposed to be a clean sweep had become a nightmare. One of the commanders shouted, "Who are they?" Myra walked straight toward him, plasma rifle aimed steady. We are from Earth, she said. You heard of us. The commander tried to lift his gun. Myra fired once. He dropped. Behind her, Lucas, Jana, and Toma gathered. All cleared, Toma said, flicking blood from his knife. Myra nodded. Phase 1 done. Ash, status. Over comms, Ash's voice was calm. Survivors secured. We need to move them soon, there may be reinforcements. Copy that, Myra said. Let's give them a goodbye present first. Above the colony, the Vanguard adjusted position. The crew released 2 drones, each armed with precision bombs. Targets locked, the AI said. Myra gave the order, fire. The main Shikar landing zone exploded in bright light. Metal, bodies, and stolen equipment scattered like dust in a storm. Back on Ulrose, Lyra stared at the sky, still holding her little brother. Who are they? She whispered. Brax answered, voice quiet but firm. Deathworlders. From Earth. And in that moment, as fires burned and enemies fled, the people of Ulrose realized they were not alone anymore. Humanity had come, and it had come with fury. Hours had passed since Earth's Deathworlders landed. The colony of Ulrose was quiet now, but only on the surface. Fires crackled softly. Smoke drifted like ghosts. Shikar bodies lay scattered in the streets, some still smoldering from Lucas's cannon. Others were frozen mid-motion, expressions of shock carved into them forever. In the bunker beneath the colony center, Ash was helping the survivors. He moved from person to person, wrapping wounds, injecting medicine, offering clean water. 1 Child reached out and held his gloved hand tightly. Ash froze for a second, then gently held it back. You're safe now, he said. Meanwhile, above them, Myra and her team stood on a rooftop, surveying the horizon. Jana pointed with her scope. Movement. Not Shikar. Too fast. Too quiet. Myra nodded. Scout drones. Toma tilted his head, eyes narrowing. No, too large. Ships. A low rumble passed through the ground. Dust rose from the shattered roads, then the sky darkened, not from clouds, but from ships. 10 vessels emerged from orbit. They were long, black, and unfamiliar. Their hulls shimmered like ink. Silent, no lights, no flags, Lucas growled. That's not Shakar tech. This is worse. High above, in the vanguard, the AI pulsed red, unknown fleet detected. Cloaked approach. Interference patterns match, Obsidian class. Not registered with the Galactic Council. The command center on board beeped rapidly. Earth's orbital. Monitors picked up the signal as well, relay stations lit up across Allied space. Commander Dale watched the feed from Earth. That's not good, he muttered. He turned to his staff. Get me orbital reinforcements. Immediately. Back on Olros, Myra activated her helmet comms. This is Captain Myra to all Earth units, we have incoming. Unknown class. Hostile intent likely. Secure all civilians. Prepare for fallback. In the bunker, Ash heard the order and turned to Brax. We are out of time. Brax helped the weak to stand. Can we run? Ash looked up. You won't have to. He pulled a beacon from his belt. It hummed softly, then glowed bright blue above the planet. The Vanguard responded instantly, unlocking emergency evac sequence. Hidden doors opened in the colony floor, revealing sleek transport pods built into the rock itself. Earth's tech was always prepared. Ash guided people toward the platforms. Fast. No panic. You'll be safe. Outside, the new fleet made landfall. Dark ramps extended. Shadowy figures stepped forward. They were tall and smooth-skinned, armored in black plates that shifted like liquid. No eyes, no faces, just blank masks. Jana zoomed in. Mercs. Private soldiers. No code. No mercy. Myra's voice turned hard. They are here to erase the evidence. Us. Lucas grinned. Let's give them something they'll never forget. The battle began without a word. No war horns. No shouts. Only movement and fire. Myra launched first, dropping into the street, twin rifles in hand. Each shot pierced enemy armor. Toma flanked the right, blades moving so fast they flashed like light. Jana stayed above, marking targets and taking them down one by one. Lucas didn't hold back. His cannon roared and buildings trembled. Every blast sent bodies flying, but the enemy kept coming. They moved like machines. No screams. No retreat. Myra ducked behind cover as a plasma bolt scorched past. We are being tested. Jana responded, they are studying us. Let them, Myra said, then rose and fired back twice. We'll show them what happens when you poke Earth. Inside the evac tunnel, Ash loaded the last group of survivors into pods. Lyra and her brother were in the front. Where are we going? She asked, gripping her brother's hand. Ash gave her a soft smile. Home. Earth. Brax stayed behind. I'll hold the door. Ash placed a hand on his shoulder. You already did. He handed Brax a pistol, then turned and sprinted back toward the front lines. The unknown enemy began circling the colony center. They'd figured out the pattern, but Myra and her team had figured them out too. Time to end this, she said. She pulled a last resort signal from her belt and clicked it twice. Up in orbit, the Vanguard opened its core. One last weapon, one saved only for moments like this. A focused plasma lance. It took 5 seconds to charge and 1 second to fire. A beam of light as thick as a tower sliced through the enemy formation, vaporizing a third of the invaders instantly. The rest turned to flee, but the Deathworlders were already on them. When the dust settled, silence returned. Ash regrouped with the others. Myra's suit was scratched, Lucas was grinning, Toma wiped his blade, and Jana walked calmly from the smoke. Myra looked up at the empty sky. No more shadows. She turned to her team. We've done our part. Now Earth decides what comes next. The survivors had been evacuated. The enemy fleet shattered. But Myra knew this was only the beginning. The Vanguard circled in low orbit, scanning for any remaining threats. Ash tended to the last injured colonists inside the ship's med bay, while Lucas and Toma rearmed. Jana monitored the skies, watching for new signals. Myra stood on the surface of Olros, dust swirling around her boots. A holoscreen flickered to life beside her, the face of Commander Dale appearing. Report, he said sharply. We eliminated the Shakar forces, Myra replied. But someone paid private shadow fleets to clean the mess and erase the colony. Dale's eyes narrowed. Obsidian mercs. Yes. No symbols. No survivors from their side. She paused. We believe they were sent to cover up the Shakar attack. Probably paid off by one of the outer houses. Dale sighed. Typical. Use a colony, break it, then wipe the slate clean. Except this time, Earth saw it. Myra folded her arms. And Earth doesn't forget. At Earth's Grand Military Hall, high above the clouds in the city of Nova Terran, the Global Council met under emergency status. Ambassadors from various Terran factions filled the room, their expressions hard. A single recording played on a massive screen, the SOS signal from Olros, then the footage of Earth's response. Screams, gunfire, the plasma lance, and finally, a little girl looking up at the sky. Silence followed, then General Carson, head of the Terran Defense Network, stood. They cried for help. No one answered but us. He looked around the table. Again. Again, Earth was the only one who moved. The only one who fought back. And now we find out there are private shadow fleets operating in Allied space, killing civilians and burning the evidence. He slammed his hand on the table. We can't just fight back. We must send a message. The room agreed, back aboard. The Vanguard, Myra received the transmission. She gathered her team. Earth has given the go-ahead. Command wants us to leave behind proof, permanent proof. We are not just rescuers now. We are the reminder. Lucas nodded slowly. Time. To carve it in steel. The Vanguard deployed 4 construction drones that carried high-density alloy blocks. The team worked with quiet purpose. They built a monolith in the center of the colony, a massive tower of dark metal that stood like a dagger against the sky. On the face of the structure, etched in 4 galactic languages, were the words, "You ignored their cry." We did not. Earth. It was a symbol. A promise. And a warning. Meanwhile, in the shadows of the galactic core, the message did not go unnoticed. A gathering of noble houses, silent partners of the Shakar and the Obsidian fleets, watched the recordings with growing discomfort. Whispers filled the marble chambers. They responded, with that kind of force. A single Terran warship erased a raiding fleet. And now they are building monuments. They are not just answering distress calls anymore. They are leaving signatures. One voice rose among them. What happens when Earth stops asking questions? No one replied. Back on Olros, Brax remained behind. He watched as Myra and her team prepared to leave. I thought you'd just rescue us, he said quietly. But you've done more. Myra nodded. People need to know Earth doesn't just protect. We remember. We warn. And when needed, she looked up at the monolith, we remind. Brax extended his hand. You've given us more than safety. You gave us back hope. Myra shook it firmly. Then protect it. Next time, you won't be alone. The Vanguard rose into the sky. As it lifted through the clouds, the colony grew smaller, but the monolith remained visible, rising from the rubble like a blade pointed at the stars. And far above, Earth's satellites broadcast the image across the known galaxy, every channel, every system, every outpost. A cry for help had been heard, and Earth had answered with fury, justice, and warning. The galaxy would remember. Asterisk. The galaxy didn't respond right away. After the transmission of Olros' rescue spread, many governments chose silence. Some feared provoking Earth. Others hoped the incident would pass like all the rest, just another burned colony, just another human warning carved in stone. But Earth didn't stop there. More colonies on the fringes began calling for help. And this time, they weren't afraid to direct the call to Earth. If you can hear this, please, we need help. Earth's name was spoken with hope and fear. Because everyone now knew what followed: an Earth response, swift justice, undeniable proof, and fire where once was betrayal. In the high halls of the Galactic Forum, council members sat stiffly around the main table. The alien delegates represented over 200 systems, each from species with long bloodlines and ancient claims to power. They watched, again, the recording from Olros, this time, in silence. Finally, one elder broke it. This is unacceptable. Earth has no right to act as enforcer. Another, older and wrapped in thick robes, grunted. They didn't act as enforcer. They acted as protectors. There's a difference. A third leaned forward, claws tapping the table. They left a monolith. That's not protection. That's a statement. The silence returned, then the Terran ambassador, a short, grey-haired woman named Raina, stood. She waited until every eye was on her. You speak of law, she said calmly. Of rights. Where were your laws when Ulrose burned? No one answered. You ignored the call. We didn't. That's the only truth that matters now. Back on Earth, inside the Nova Terran command chamber, Myra debriefed with Commander Dale. In person, you left a message, Dale said, looking at a projection of the Ulrose monolith. And now they are listening. Not all of them like it, Myra replied. They don't have to like it. They just have to understand it. Dale motioned to another screen. We've received 6 more distress calls in the past 2 days. 2 from neutral colonies. 4 from former allies. People are scared, Myra said. They've realized no one's watching their backs but us. Dale turned to her. And the Council? They've been forced to schedule an emergency summit. You'll be there. Earth needs a voice that's walked the fire. Myra blinked. Me? You represent the very thing they fear and respect. A week later, Myra entered the Grand Forum alone. She wore no armor. No weapons. Just Earth's black uniform with the silver sigil of the Deathworlder Corps. Her presence made the room shift, silent whispers, worried glances, cautious stares. She stood at the central platform, surrounded by voices, by power, by tradition older than Earth's first cities. I'm not here to ask for favors, she said. I'm here because Earth is tired of seeing silence used as an excuse. The people of Ulrose called for help. We answered. Others will call, and we will answer them too. You fear that we act alone. She paused. Maybe you should. Fear that we don't have to anymore. A delegate hissed. Is that a threat? No, Myra replied. It's a truth. After the summit, the galactic networks exploded with reactions. Earth stands firm at Forum. Human response divides the Council. Are the Deathworlders becoming the galaxy's shield or sword? On Ulrose, the people rebuilt slowly. And each time someone passed the monolith, they touched it. A gesture of thanks, of respect, a symbol that Earth had come. That night, Myra stood in her quarters, staring at a simple item on her desk, the small cloth doll the girl Lyra had left behind as a thank you. She held it gently. Behind her, the stars stretched wide and endless. The next call for help could come from anywhere, and Myra knew they would be ready. While Earth's name spread across the stars like wildfire, bringing both admiration and unease. Not all were watching in silence. In a hidden region of space, shielded by gravitational anomalies and old war debris, a private transmission buzzed to life. Inside a black, hollowed-out asteroid station, cloaked ships floated silently. These were not part of any Council fleet. They bore no flags, no insignias. Only purpose. At a long dark table, figures sat in the shadows. Their bodies were alien, but their voices cold and united. They've gone too far, one hissed. Earth interferes again and again. Colonies begin looking to them instead of us. They leave messages carved into stone, growled another. And the people cheer. The Ulrose incident was supposed to be erased. A third voice answered slowly, yes. But we underestimated Earth's timing and its response units. Then a fourth spoke, deeper, calmer. Perhaps it's time to show the Deathworlders what fear really feels like. Back on Earth, Myra trained in the deep-level chambers of the Nova Terran facility. The walls were reinforced steel. The gravity shifted randomly. The lighting flickered by design. It was Earth's harshest indoor training zone, made to feel like Earth's harshest wildlands. Lucas joined her, sweat already on his brow. The Council's trying to keep things quiet. But rumors say the ones behind the Shadow Fleet weren't just mercs. Myra paused her movement. Go on. They were connected to House Dreyval. She narrowed her eyes. That name had weight. House Dreyval was one of the oldest noble families in the galaxy. Rich. Untouchable. Above suspicion. Until now. Did we get proof? She asked. Not yet, Lucas said. But Earth's intelligence picked up a pattern. Someone's running raids again, smaller ones. No survivors. Same style. Testing our response, Myra muttered, exactly. Later that day, Dale gathered the team in a high-level briefing room. He looked grim. We've confirmed the next colony in danger. It's a research outpost called Hal Run 3. No defenses. No fleet. Just scientists and equipment. He pointed at a red dot on the star map. And it's within House Trevel's influence zone. Myra spoke first. So they want us to hesitate. They want us to doubt, Dale said. But they forgot who we are. He pressed a button and a countdown appeared on the screen. You'll leave in 5 hours. Aboard the Vanguard, the Deathworlder team suited up once more. Thomas sharpened his blades. Jana scanned the outpost's maps and escape routes. Lucas packed the heavier weaponry, just in case diplomacy failed again. Ash finished prepping emergency kits, this time loading double the amount. If they're really after civilians again, we need to be faster. Myra checked her rifle one last time, then looked at them all. Let's be clear. This mission isn't just about saving people. It's about drawing them out. Jana raised an eyebrow. A trap? We'll make it look like we are too late, Myra said. And then we make them regret coming. When they arrived at Hal Run 3, the planet looked peaceful, too peaceful, Jana muttered through her comms. No movement. No signals. Feels like bait. Myra agreed. They landed on the far side, cloaked by the shadows of large cliffs. Myra led the team through rocky terrain toward the outpost, and then they saw it. The buildings were untouched, but empty. The doors open. Food left uneaten. Lights flickering. It was quiet, too quiet. Suddenly, Lucas spoke. Motion. Behind us. Myra spun. Figures were emerging from the rocks, black armored shapes, like the ones on Ulrose. But this time, dozens more. They'd been waiting, and they didn't expect the Deathworlders to come looking for a fight. Toma moved first, vanishing into shadows, circling the enemy. Ash laid smoke screens across the field. Lucas opened fire with the thunder of a ground quake. Jana sniped from a high ledge, calling out enemy positions. Myra moved straight into the heart of the ambush. She didn't hesitate. She didn't flinch. This wasn't a mission anymore, this was retribution, and as Earth's Deathworlders unleashed their fury, the sky above flickered with a new signal, one intercepted by the Vanguard. It was a live transmission from the attackers, their command center. Their leaders' coordinates proved a traceable line to whoever had ordered Ulrose and Hal Run 3. In the chaos of battle, Myra saw it clearly. This wasn't just another rescue, this was the beginning of something larger, and Earth had just found the thread to unravel it all. The enemy ambush at Hal Run 3 had failed. The Deathworlders didn't run. They didn't fall, they hunted. Within minutes, the black-armored mercenaries began breaking formation. Panic spread. Toma moved like a shadow, cutting down stragglers. Jana's shots never missed. Lucas advanced through the center like a storm, his cannon roaring with each pulse. Ash kept the evac route open, guiding the terrified scientists toward the dropship. He carried 2 wounded over his shoulders, shouting for the others to move faster, and Myra moved with purpose. Each step, each strike, each shot was driven by the same fire that had brought her to Ulrose. This wasn't just about justice. Now. It was about memory. Earth remembered who cried for help, and it never forgot who caused the pain. Inside the wrecked command center of the ambushes, the Vanguard's AI pulled the signal logs, encrypted lines, hidden authorizations, faked origins, but not enough. One chain led to a relay station buried beneath the black moons of Sector G4. Another to a private vault transmission near House Trevel's domain, and finally, to a flagged personal code, Lord Sentos Draval, Commander. Dale received the report within seconds. Got him, he whispered. He opened a channel to Earth's Grand Council. The time for questions is over. Earth has the proof. At the next emergency session of the Galactic Forum, the air was thick with tension. Leaders from dozens of species sat in silence as Earth's evidence played on the grand holoscreens. Proof of paid mercenaries. Black Fleet deployment orders. Ulrose erased intentionally. Hal Run 3 baited, all linked to House Draval. Gasps filled the chamber. Accusations. Denials. Demands for investigation. But when Rayna, the Terran ambassador, stood, the room quieted. She didn't shout. She didn't threaten, she simply said, "You failed to hear the cries for help. We did not And we won't wait for you to decide whether life is worth protecting. Earth is not here to take your power. She looked at each delegate slowly. We are here to remind you what happens when you ignore the helpless. Within days, House Draval collapsed, their assets frozen. Fleets disarmed. Systems reclaimed. Colonies that had once feared speaking up now sent signals proudly to Earth, asking for protection, alliance, and hope, and Earth responded, not with conquest, not with demands, but with teams like Myra's. Deathworlders who walked into fire for strangers and left behind a symbol that echoed louder than any flag. We answer. On Olrose, the monolith still stood tall. Children played near its base. Flowers were left on the ground beneath its shadow. And old Brax often came by just to sit beside it and remember the day Earth came, not as conquerors, not as judges, but as the ones who answered. I in the quiet command room of the Vanguard, Myra placed the small doll back on her shelf. It reminded her of what mattered. Toma leaned against the wall. You think they'll ever stop testing us? Myra looked out the window, where stars glittered like distant fires. No, she said. But we'll be there. Every time. Jana entered with a new mission file. Another signal just came in. Myra stood. Then we go. The Vanguard rose from orbit, its engines humming with silent power. Across the galaxy, those in need looked to the stars once more, knowing someone would come, and in the distance, the Deathworlders of Earth answered again, because Earth remembered every cry, and Earth never turned away. Asterisk.